Item number 1 here is the Moroccan American
Commissioner,
Connection Revere. Yes,
excuse me, would we salute the flag today?
we don't have a flag to salute, so that's why I just went right into the next.
Okay,
next-
fine. Had one, that's okay, thank you. I just wanted to explain why we weren't doing it.
Yes, I mean, I suppose I was thinking about just saying that typically we would do that, but because of the circumstances and I mean, I don't have a flag to salute in my place, and I just figured it would be best just to move right through the agenda as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Commissioner.
To go back to the Moroccan American Connections in Revere, this is a application for a 1-day common victular and entertainment license. The application of the Moroccan American Connections in Revere for that special 1-day license is to be exercised at the Wheeling School on Saturday, June 20th, 2020 from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it is the Moroccan Cultural Day Festival. This is a continuation from the February meeting. Since that time, obviously, there's been a lot of changes. There's a late communication from the ward councilor who was not in support of this because of the current situation with the virus. So I guess what we will do is talk to, is there someone from the Moroccan festival here? You have to unmute your mic. There you go.
Yes, sir.
So what is your feeling now on this event at this point? I see that you've gotten all of the approvals that we had asked for. However, like I say, the counselor did change his mind.
Sure. First of all, I hope that you and your families are doing well. I know that no one wants to hear about festivals at this time, but we had to follow up on this application as a matter of fact. And I pray for everyone in the world to be done with this current situation in the near future. And our lives goes back to normal. This is the first time I hear that Ward Councilor 6, Rick Sereno rejected this or changed his mind, but I haven't heard back from him. I just spoke to him probably 3 days ago. But in the meantime, I would like to thank the elementary school for submitting a letter stating all the parking spots. But we still want to follow up on this in case we're not hoping to do it at this time, but we want to get the approval and maybe postpone it. Because we went through all of these, and I just want to make sure that Ward 6 Councilor, he is okay with this festival being done in his ward, regardless of that situation. We're not going out by ourselves in this current situation and celebrate. We understand that, but we just want to get done with the approval and put the whole thing on hold. And in the meantime, I would like to thank the people who supported my application. I would like to thank Mayor Arrigo for sending his support letter. I would like to thank as well Diane Kelly, Dr. Diane Kelly, the superintendent, for submitting her support letter, as well as we got the approval from Police Chief Guido, as well as the Fire Department Chief Wright, that I would like to thank them for following up on that and getting us the approvals. Mike from the rec department has approved this application, and we got the liability insurance. I'm not sure why Councilor Sereno changed his mind, but all of these people who submitted their approvals, they understand that we are not going to do it at this specific time, but the process takes so long. Let's say we decide we are done with this situation in August and we would like to celebrate. Can we do that?
I understand. Yes, Commissioner LaCroix.
Yeah. Chairman Sullivan, Bob, can you read Council Sereno's full, I don't think it's a long, will it take us like less than a minute? Can you just read that so everyone understands his justification?
I actually don't have the email in front of you, but his
have it?
basic point is that it's all about the virus, and he doesn't think that congregating 1,000 people at this time is wise.
Okay.
I think that was basically the gist of it. Yes, Linda.
I think that what it said in Mr. Sereno's, and I had the pleasure of speaking with him, I don't think it was he wanted to cancel it. He was asking that he would like the board to hold it over till he can be present. And he thought that in the fall, it may be a better time in the fall that he would look at it again, and barring anything else that is planned for that time of year. But I don't think, just to clarify, I don't think he's against having it. I think at this time, he wants to be present at the hearing. He has a lot of unanswered questions, and he would like to proceed with it at a much later date. That was the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what unanswered questions he had because he was good with it initially. So it was all about the virus and health concerns. And so, as the gentleman stated, it takes so long to get the process going that we approve things contingent on situations all the time. And I would think that this would just be another one. But yes, Commissioner LaCroix.
So on that note, I agree. In most cases, we do have contingencies. However, this is a little bit different. So let's just say it was approved and the state, city allowed gatherings, but with the, with the concern that this thing isn't cleared up, this is a little different than a contingent, I think. So it's to approve it, and the state and city allows larger gatherings. I still consider it's a significant risk to the city, to the people at the event, where I agree with Council Sereno in that at this time, it's difficult to approve something contingent upon something else, correct? So to me, it's just different, contingent, because we're talking life and death versus, whether you have a fire code or whether you have, the correct electrical inspector stuff. This is a life and death situation. So to approve, I think that's kind of where I'm going. And I think that's where Councilor Sereno was going as well. So just my 2 cents.
Commissioner Guanasso.
I feel the same way. I just think that right now the country is under much different rules than we've ever had before. And my personal thing would be, I would like to see, before we make any kind of decisions, what the next month holds in our state and our country as to what's going to take place and how much further they are going to extend this quarantine. So I think another month, and I think, in all fairness to the council of Ward 6, Sereno, he's just concerned about the people in the area. He's concerned about the traffic, the extra people coming in. So I think a postponement for a month, I think we're all hopefully going to get a much better picture of where we're going with this virus in our city. And then again, for you, I understand the work you've put into it. I think it's a great thing. I know you've had it for the last several years, but I personally would like to have another month to see what direction we're going in. And then again, maybe in the fall, you still have, 4, 5, 6 months to work on this, and you still have the permits. But I just don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks. Hopefully, open.
I would just add my 2 cents in that I would think that if the state were to authorize gatherings of more than 10 people and authorize gatherings sufficient, that they would have done the research and they would have done the homework that they've been doing right along. So as long as the state is indicating that these gatherings are safe and healthy, I don't see why we're in the business now of being health officials, deciding what is or isn't healthy or isn't healthy. I think we ought to rely on the people that we've been relying on from the get-go. And if they say it's okay, obviously it's okay. And so to make this gentleman come back again, it seems to me to be unreasonable. Yes, sir.
Commissioner, just to
Excuse
clarify,
me, Linda, the gentleman wanted to speak
We-
first.
responsible for licenses we give out, Commissioner. And yes, I do take as serious the health issues in the city of Revere. So I'm not going to say we don't have the authority. I don't want to sit here saying, okay, we're going to give these licenses out. We have another one coming up right after this meeting. And therefore, am I ready to start giving out all these licenses? I don't think so at this point. That would be my own. But I think we have a big responsibility to the city of Revere.
We definitely do. Yes, sir. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I understand your concerns, lady and gentlemen, but as I mentioned, this takes a long time to gather all of these approvals. And I personally not feeling good about it standing in front of you at this specific time of the crisis, asking for a street festival. However, we started a process and we would like to finish it. And our organization stopped all of its regular activities and joined the Revere Emergency Response Team. We are fighting in the front line for the good thing of our city. We have been making masks for the city of Revere. We are in the middle of this situation, and ourselves, we wouldn't allow it if we are not done with it. We may not do it. I just want to have a contingent approval because we have done some work, and we don't want to go back again and lose the approval of the chief, lose the approval of the mayor, lose the approval of all of these people. We got 8 approvals. Only one person who goes back and change his mind. The mayor, the leader of the emergency response team, we didn't hear back from him. We understand that because he knows that we are fighting with him in this battle. And we won't be going outside and doing this festival while we know other people and put other people in risk while we have been fighting for them for the last 2 months. We wouldn't allow this. We just want to be done with the process. I apologize, my son is calling me.
Hang on one second. Okay, Commissioner. Commissioner LaCroix?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just, question for clarity. When were these approvals? What date? I read through them last night. I don't remember exactly the dates they were approved. Like from the mayor down, from the mayor. When did you start getting approvals? Was it in February? Was it in March? Because the reason I ask is not until recently have we really run into some really critical numbers around here, especially in Revere, Chelsea, and some surrounding communities. In fact, I think Revere is number 2 in the state for the number of instances. So I'm not sure. At the time, I think they may have, if it was done a month ago, it wasn't as extreme situation as it is today. So I'm wondering when were these approvals given? I don't remember the dates. I don't have the papers in front of me.
The approvals were given back between late February and early March.
Yeah. So there's my point. I think at that time, and this isn't anyone's fault. Again, this is not, at the time, the significance of this was nowhere near it is today. And in what we don't know 2 months from now is, to me, a little concerning. And that's why, I think Councilor Serino has kind of gone the other direction. Again, you have to speak with him, and he's not here like Linda, Council. Guanasso had said he'd like to be present, but because that's kind of how I'm thinking this, through this process.
Very good. What I'll do now is open this. Are there any proponents out there? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the Moroccan cultural connection in Revere? I don't see or hear any. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? I don't see or hear any, so I will close this section of the hearing. And I guess we'll now move to a vote. I'm going to put a motion forward that we approve this, contingent obviously on all of the emergency restrictions being lifted at the time the event goes forward. Is there a second on that? I don't see or hear any. Is there another motion to vote on this? Is anybody going to make a motion to do anything?
I'll make a motion to postpone it till our next regular scheduled meeting, unless something turns around, which I doubt is going to turn around. I think that we're talking a May meeting, which is, another 2 weeks. I think for me, as I've talked to other people, I have been in touch with some legislators from the state. They certainly advise no proposing of any large gatherings anywhere. So we're talking 4 weeks, we're still talking May. We have the whole summer, we have to go. I will say, as far as 2 days ago, I have a wedding in June, which was postponed because of 250 people not allowed. So just for the protection of the city's not going in a good direction as far as this virus. I'm going to put in a motion to continue till our next meeting. And by then, I think we're going to know where we're going for the summer. We have people talking July and August. I hope that's not true. I'll be the first one, if you have it in June, to come to the festival just to be out. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it does. My motion would be to continue till the following month.
So you want to postpone this discussion until the May meeting?
I'd like to continue it till the next. He still has all his approvals, unless anyone, again, we've already had someone change, unless anyone after this next 2 weeks, which they say is so crucial, changes their mind. His approvals, as far as I'm concerned, are still good.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I'll second that.
Yeah. The only response, the only feedback on the approvals, like I had just mentioned, they were done prior to the significant increase in cases in this area in Revere. Can we just get them reaffirmed? Because at that time, I don't think there was any. I'm just asking the question because I want to make sure everyone's on the same page. But things change. So if this thing was done at the end of February, these approvals, then I think they should be revisited and reaffirmed like Councilor Sereno did. He, at the time, he did not think it was an issue. And now, he has more information, and that's kind of, I think, why he went, he objected the second time around, because things have changed significantly since.
Well,
I think it's unfair to make this gentleman go and get all these approvals again.
Well, I'm not saying.
If people have a problem with it, they can request it at the time. But
Well, I think it's in his best interest to do it, because then I'll feel better. And next month you come back and say, I've talked to the mayor. This one, it's only an email. It's not like to go out and you have to get interviews. It's a quick email, phone call, and it's 4 or 5 departments. Just say, are we still good to go? I don't think that's a lot of work. And if he comes back and we're still good to go, and I feel better about it. I don't think there's a big issue with that.
I
So
think
you're voting against the motion that's on the floor right now, which is to continue this for a month?
just to clarify, Commissioner LaCroix, he did get the permits, and I think like Councilor Sereno did, he rethought it. He knew the issue was coming up. I think all these other departments are watching closely, and they're going to know that he is coming back next month. And I think at that point, if they do change their mind, they'll notify us. So I'm okay.
Fair enough. I'm good.
So the motion to approve this, to continue this until the next meeting is approved. Do you understand that, sir, what we're doing?
Not really, sir.
Basically, what
it-
we're doing is we're kicking this until the next meeting, which is, I think it's May 18th or so. Let me, I'm not sure exactly, but if you want to check with that, it's the third Wednesday in May, whatever that is. And we would do that again, and we'd come at it again and see what it looks like at that point, and see if people are still on board, if people have changed their mind, if you think you want to push it and ask for another date maybe later. But a month is probably a good idea to let us see what happens here and see what this looks like in in 30 days.
The issue here is we're not talking about quick emails or quick response. We're talking about months. And there is only a few months.
Well, no one's asking
that
you to go get new approvals now. All we're
No,
doing
no.
is saying that we want to come back and visit this in a month. The stuff you have from the mayor and those folks, that's all well and good. They'll be notified if the hearing coming forward, and if they have a problem, you may get another letter like from Councilor Sereno, depending upon what the numbers look like. So I think it's prudent and a good motion by Commissioner Guanasso to move this thing for a month. It gives you an opportunity to solidify the people that you have, and also give the city a chance to kind of see what's going on with the medical situation.
I understand that. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've been attending every single day meeting with the emergency response team. We are fighting in the front line, and I wouldn't allow myself to go outside and celebrate and bring other people, put them in dangers. These people that we have been making masks for them to save their lives. That wouldn't make any sense. However, we just want to get a preliminary or a contingent approval. I personally am not willing to do it in June. I don't think that it can be done in June. We're thinking about, if we get done with this situation, are we okay to do it in September or December? We don't know. We are not doing it until it's okay with every single person in the city. It's not just from the legal process, but also we will allow time for people to heal from this crisis.
Yes, sir, we've already taken a vote, and we need the 2 weeks, as you said. We need the 2 weeks. They're telling us we're going to peak in 2 weeks. Let's give it the 2 weeks. Let's give it the month. There's nothing that's going to change. This is continued as far as I'm concerned. A vote has been taken. We're saying all your permits are fine. There's not going to be a problem unless the governor steps in and extends the crisis again. Other than that, I'm fine.
Sir, I can tell you, just if you'd let me for a moment, based upon what I know about the commissioners and the way the city feels about the organization and the festival, we want to give you every opportunity to have a great festival. We want you to have a bunch of people there. We want it to be a great event. However, we have to balance what we're doing here. And so all we're trying to do is just push this out a little bit more so that we have an opportunity to see what those numbers look like. No one, I don't think there's any reason anybody could have to deny you this permit based upon everything that I know. The only issue right now is it safe for a group that large to congregate? And so once that determination's been made, I just think the thing is going to get green lighted. But I can't speak for everybody, but I can tell you that would be my position. And I don't think I've heard anybody express a position different than that. So
that's fair enough. Fair enough. And I just want to thank you for your support. And we are very grateful to have some collaborative people in the city of Revere. That's good.
And I just want to, I just want to thank you guys for doing a great job helping out with the mask and everything else. So we appreciate that. Okay.
All right, sir. So we'll see you next month, and I hope we find you well at that time.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Stay safe with your families.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. That takes care of item number 1. Item number 2, the Boston Renegades, Harry Delarusso Stadium. Molly Goodwin is the event manager. This is an application for 6 one-day malt and wine licenses. The application of the Boston Renegades for the malt and wine license to be exercised at the stadium, Harry Delarusso Stadium, from 4:30 to 8 p.m. on the following dates. The dates, I understand, are really not in play right now, so I guess we will say at the dates to be announced. All the dates are Saturdays, and the event is women's tackle football. Is there someone from the Renegades available?
Yes, Michelle McDonough from the Boston Renegades. Thank you.
Yes. Can you tell us what you plan to do at this event, and just to reassure us that everything you're going to do is basically what was done in the past?
Yes. So kind of to remind everyone, Boston Renegades are a full contact women's tackle football team based out of Boston. We've been playing at Harry Delarusso Stadium for the past 4 years, but as an organization have been around for 6, but women's football has been in Boston for over 20. So we are looking to have a beer and wine malt liquor license at our home games, basically sold from just before kickoff through the 3rd quarter, which is around 6 to approximately 8 p.m. on game day. At this point in time, you're correct that our season, like everything else in the world, is on hold and in the process of kind of continuing to monitor the situation and determine when and if we'll be able to kick off for a season. But just want to say that last year, we feel like we had great success in partnership with the staff at Harry Delarusso and our organization in safely serving alcohol to our limited number of fans, and want to reiterate this really did change and elevate the experience that we could offer to our community as we look to build and strengthen our organization.
Very good. It's a great event, and I think it's, hopefully it'll get off the ground pretty soon. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions? Or yes, Commissioner Guanasso.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi,
I
Linda.
remember the event last year. Last year was a great event. And just so happens the night of the trophy evening, I happened to be out to dinner and was able to share the trophy evening with you. And it was a great time. And again, I'm looking at these dates. Unfortunately, I am concerned about the next 2 weeks. One you have down here is for April 25th.
Yep.
The next one, of course, is May 2nd, which we know would be, well, for myself, to approve that, I just can't see doing that at this point.
Yeah, and none of the dates that are on the application are valid. Our full schedule will be kind of relaunched upon the season kickoff. So our kind of April through June schedule has been fully scrapped at this point in time. And what we're hoping to do is relaunch a safe, probably consolidated schedule that would probably give us 2 regular season games and up to 2 home playoff games. When we deem it to be safe, to be able to practice and play. So, we are a football team. So in order to even practice, we have 55 players on our team and up to 10 coaches. So our gatherings just to practice are 60 people. So, we do envision this in being delayed significantly, but same as the previous speaker, we were hoping to get a contingent license so that as we go out and look at having a season and talk to our fan base about their tickets and what they're going to have, are able to correctly define the experience that they can expect, should and when we kick off a season.
Well, see, the problem with this right now, the stadium, we would have to get a schedule from the stadium. We do use the stadium quite a bit during the summer.
Yep.
So to say we can approve anything, I don't know how we can without having the city schedule as to what's going on. I know around the 4th of July, in July, we have a lot of events there. So
yeah, we do tentatively, just so you know, I believe have Harry Delarusso Stadium scheduled because of the potential opportunity for home playoff games reserved for Saturday nights in July at this point, which we would release as soon as we knew that we didn't need it. But you are 100% correct. This would be contingent on us being able to secure the stadium And we would not be looking to implement this at any other Revere facility right now, other than Harry De La Russa Stadium, because we know that it allows us to lock the gates and therefore only have people walking up to us that have so I think just to kind of explain some of the reasons why we think we were successful, the stadium allows it to be fully secure. So the only people who were able to come in and procure any alcohol from us were ticket holders to the game. So those are our season tickets, or kind of walk-up holders. And so everybody was part of our community. Therefore, we weren't serving just a person walking by, on the street. But Harry De La Russa Stadium's availability is something that we already are working on as we look through our contingency plans on what happens if and when we go live, and how we become ready to put women on the field to play football that, like me, have been sitting in their house at this point for up to 5 weeks.
So what are you looking for today? What is it that,
Up to 6 one-day licenses to be used on Saturday nights for women's tackle football games, once we can secure dates. So contingent licenses.
okay, but you don't have the dates, and you don't have a confirmation from the city if we have any events?
I believe we have the Saturday nights secured through July. Should we need it. So what we are looking for is the approval to host, this year up to 4 events of a one-day license that would give us during game day from approximately 6 to 8-ish p.m. at night to serve alcohol at our games.
In July?
Could be late June and July when our season kicks off.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. Is there anybody else? Commissioner LaCroix, do you have anything you'd like to ask?
Yeah, so same with Commissioner Guanasso. Sorry, Linda, we always call you counselor, but listen up. So the dates are kind of irrelevant right now because we don't know when they're, so basically you're here to say when you do get going, when you do have a schedule, a confirmed approved schedule from the city for that, to use that facility, you want to know, you're asking for approval from for a malt and liquor license for those, whatever the dates are.
Yeah, malt liquor. Yes, correct.
Okay, so that was my question. I just wanted to confirm that.
Very good. So here's the situation. I mean, I think it's very similar to the last situation in that these people have had these events in the past. They're going to run them exactly the same as they have in the past. They just don't have the dates, not through any fault of their own, but by the circumstance. And again, approving these things based upon giving them an approval as long as the situation is clear with the governor and the mayor and the medical people, then I think, again, we're in a situation where we have to see we grant the license contingent upon those factors being met. But before we go any further, I should probably ask if there are any other proponents out there. Is there anybody who'd like to speak on behalf of the Renegade football team and the liquor license? I don't see or hear any, so I will close that section and move to any opponents. Is there anybody that's opposed to this? I do not see or hear anybody, so I'll close that section. Again, we're right back to where we were before, which is I'll make a motion to approve this contingent on the medical people giving it a clearance at the time the dates are handled. I mean, as far as the city goes, obviously there's going to be
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
We have a hand raised here, someone who would like to speak. I apologize.
Very good.
He should be ready to speak. Councilor Novoselsky?
Thank you very much. Hi, folks. How you doing?
Councilor
Sorry I
Novoselsky,
was
how are
late.
you?
Sorry I was late. I didn't have the numbers to get online, but I was watching it on my phone. I think this is the same situation as what we had in the prior agreement, and having this many people in one spot, Major League sports, looking at no fans. If they wanted to play football, I would think they would have to have no fans at this point. And I'd be concerned about having a liquor license with no fans, and the only people that could be using it is the workers that are there. So I think it's a wait and see situation, and I feel bad about it. We feel bad about the whole situation, what's going on all over the world, but I'd be very cautious on which way to go on this.
Yeah, and I would just say we're very different than any of professional major league sports. So our fan base is, it is weather dependent. So we have cleared our normal April freezing cold days where we get very low numbers, but we're 200, people is kind of our, 200 to 300 is our average for a, really competitive rivalry game. We could get 500. And what we're really trying to do is bring together a community. And I guess my ask is if a thought process on a contingency you are willing to do, that really helps us in what we're able to articulate to our fans as we try and sell tickets, season tickets. We have 200 to 300 season ticket holders, but that not all attend games, but that allow us to specifically tell them what they're going to experience when we're trying to do this fundraising to keep our organization afloat, especially during these difficult times.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yes,
if I may.
Commissioner. Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to, be clear that, right now we have no clue what's going to happen in the future. And right now, April, May, and June do not look very good for any kind of group get-togethers. So, I would be very cautious about playing, number one, and number two, about giving out a liquor license or a beer and wine license, malt license for this early in the game. So that's my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Guanasso.
Thank you. I agree. I think it's a great sport. I have a granddaughter, loves to play sports. I think it's great, but as the last applicant that came before us, we have our concerns. And I still think we're going to be looking at, July before we can do anything. So as I said at the last meeting, even if you were to have it in July and this was approved, and I'm hoping everything goes well and it is approved, I'd like to see a continuance in May because, everybody's saying we're going to peak in 2 weeks. We're going to know where we're at. We may be able to give all these licenses out, hopefully. We will have peaked in this last week and we're going down. So I know it's an inconvenience for everybody. I feel very bad. But again, we do have to be careful and go by the rules and regulations set by the governor. So at this point, I think, again, it should be continued again till our next meeting, which is only May, which still gives you a couple of months. I don't think anybody on the board doesn't want to approve this. We're just being very cautious because, of course, the City Revere's got very high numbers. Me for one would love to see this go through, but I think I could give a better answer in the next month, hoping these next 2 weeks turn out to be in our favor. So I guess that's where I'm coming from.
Very good, Commissioner LaCroix.
So I'm taking this, I take each item separately. I'm looking at this one a little bit different than the previous one. This one requires a little more planning from a business perspective. When Molly mentioned ticket sales have to be planned out a little bit. Season ticket holders, they have to know whether this is going to potentially happen. So my thinking is in July, August, when she applies for, usage of the stadium of Harry Delarusso, if this is not resolved, this gathering issue, then they're not going to allow it. She's not going to be allowed in there anyway. So, but from from running an organization like she is, season tickets and getting, I think I'm thinking of a little bit different. I think she needs to be planning for future fans and to build up this business of hers. And it happens to be football. So I'm looking at it a little bit different. And I think I'll be okay with approving this contingent upon she gets, approval to use the stadium if available. If the city feels it's safe, if they don't feel it's safe, you're not going to get use of it anyway. So, but at least you can do a little planning ahead of time so that you can serve, liquor at, beer and wine at these events, which, season ticket. So, I just want to say about that, and then I'll hand it back to our chairman.
Very good. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, to be honest, I'd have to say that the last gentleman needed as much planning. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the winning toss, but nonetheless, I would also vote to approve this contingent on the situation being resolved. That if she can get into the stadium, if they are allowing gatherings, then we should allow them to sell alcohol at those gatherings. We're not telling them they can have a gathering without approval from the governor or mayor or anybody else. All of this stuff is contingent. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with the contingency aspect of it. So I would second Commissioner LaCroix's motion and approve this.
Well, come on.
Yes, Commissioner Gwyneth.
I just, in staying with my feelings from the last applicant, I would like to be recorded as being opposed.
Very good. Thank you very much. The motion.
Just one last thing, Chairman. So, comparing the two situations, we do have experience with, Molly's organization as well. She's run these events at the stadium, I think, pretty clean. So it's a little bit different than the other one where it's a much larger, probably the largest gathering that's ever done. So I want to just make that noted that.
Very good, sir. That's noted.
Totally agree with you. Wonderful.
Okay.
Very good. So the application for 6 one-day malt wine licenses of the Boston Renegades is approved. The licenses will be at Harry Delarusso Stadium. The hours are 4:30 to 8, and the dates are yet to be determined. However, they will be worked out between the city and the Renegades. And as long as they get all the approvals, those licenses are approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Item number 3, AM Pizza Inc., DBA Domino's Pizza, 570 Broadway. Henry Askew is the manager. This is a application for a transfer of a common victualer's license from Joel Enterprises, Inc. Said license to be exercised at 570 Broadway. Seating and operating hours are to remain the same. The seating of 18, and the hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Is there someone from Domino's or AM Pizza Inc.? I don't see anybody on there.
He's coming in. Excuse me,
Okay.
Chairman. We also
Yes.
have a hand raised. I believe it's for the prior application.
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to see that.
Just came up.
Okay. I don't know why I don't have that.
Shall
on-
I allow that person to speak?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Dear Commissioner, I would like just to bring to your attention that I received a communication from Councilor Serrano. He said that he's not opposed to the motion. He is just asking to postpone it, which is what we are asking for the Moroccan Cultural Day. We are not planning to do it on June 20th. We are asking you to give us a contingent approval and be postponed to a date to be announced, the same as the most recent application, and we are not selling any alcohol. So this is probably, I find it like much easier than the other situation. And we could call I mean, we could just read the communication from Councilor Sereno. That's what he was telling me. He said that he did not oppose it. He asked to postpone it, which what we are asking for.
But sir, isn't that what we did was the postponement?
You postpone it till next month.
We had a continuance to next month.
Yeah.
And he also stated that he would be okay to come to the meeting, our next meeting, and talk about it maybe sometime in the fall.
Because he sent me an email, said he was asking for his communication to be said during the meeting, and he wasn't opposed to it. So, and I don't know why he is not present at this meeting.
Well, he had other
You
commitments.
have to ask him that, but
Yeah.
so we have.
So I
we have
just don't find it fair. I just don't find it fair. We are not asking for any liquor license. We are just asking for a contingent gathering after we are all done with this situation.
All right,
While I
here's-
see other applications that,
We're
Here's
giving,
what we're gonna do, sir. We're gonna move this. We'll
All
come
right.
back at the end of the meeting. Okay, so let us get through this, and then we'll give the commissioners an opportunity to think of this as we're going through.
But
And
sir,
see
we
if they wanna
already
revisit
voted
it.
on, the
Okay.
issue was
So-
already voted on.
Okay,
don't-
fine. So we're done.
I don't think we can reopen it.
we can discuss it. We don't
Voted.
vote. We can, I have no problem with him, you know, we can talk to him about this stuff, but maybe he doesn't understand. I have no problem talking, you
But I
know,
think we've gone through it. We're only gonna stir up more. We've gone
Okay.
through it. I'm for a continuance. I know how the council feels. I don't see a big problem with as with the last one. I see no problem.
we can see another counselor. We can see another counselor who opposed that application for the stadium, and it's still being approved.
Sir,
So
excuse
it's
me.
the same exact situation, except one situation has alcohol and the other one, it doesn't have any alcohol, which makes more sense is to oppose the one that has alcohol, because when people get drunk, they may not follow the precautions to save their lives and other lives as well. So
Sure, let's-
I don't find it fair.
Sorry, here's the situation. We've voted, this thing is gonna be moved till the May meeting. You're welcome to come back at that time and bring it up again, and we'll see what it looks like at that point. But we've already discussed it.
I understand it. I just want to mention to you that it's the same exact situation. It's been opposed by, except if you are seeing a difference between the two councilors. I see Councilor Ira Novoselsky opposed that motion, but it's still going through. And while Sereno is saying we want you to postpone it, not to cancel it, and my motion has been canceled. So
Very good.
anyway,
We understand your position. Thank you very much.
I just want to make you aware of that, but thank you
I
anyway.
appreciate that. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3. Does Henry Askew here? Okay, Mr. Askew, can you just explain briefly what your plan is for Domino's here?
I've been a Domino's franchisee since 1997, and I'm buying the store from Joe Abigale, who's the owner of Joel Enterprises, and just adding another store to the portfolio and managing the stores.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Guanasso?
Have you worked at this particular Domino's Pizza?
Full-time, no. I've been to the store here and there, but no, I have supervisors and I go to all the stores, but I don't work there full-time now.
And you say you have another pizza,
Yeah, I have 17 Domino's locations.
you have 17. So who would be manager here? Would you be there?
The GM is Ty Pereira. The supervisor there would be Chris Baum and Fernando Cruz.
And are any of those the previous employees?
Ty Pereira, yes, she's been there for a while. And so the drivers and the assistant managers.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions?
I have no questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any proponents? Anybody want to speak on behalf of the transfer of this license? Hearing and seeing none, I will move to the opponents. Are there any opponents? Anybody opposed to this transfer? I don't see or hear any. I will ask for a motion. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Very good. Second is approved. The application for a transfer of license to Henry Askew for a common victualer's license from Joel Enterprises, Inc. Said license to be exercised at 570 Broadway. The seating and operating hours are to remain the same with seating of 18. The hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Thank you very much, Mr. Askew. That license.
Thank you very much. Stay healthy.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Item number 4, NAI Entertainment Holdings, LLC, DBA Showcase Cinema Revere Chatters Bar, 565 Squire Road. John Grandy is the manager. This is an application for an alteration of premises. The application of NAI Entertainment Holdings Showcase Cinema for an alteration of premises to expand their licensed premise to include the lobby, spillways, and all movie theaters. Is there someone on behalf of the NAI Entertainment Holdings? Attorney Cipolletta, I see you there.
No, don't think that's.
That's not him, but I saw his icon was there.
There we go.
Very good.
Thought I had my. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
I've
you for
got,
joining us. We appreciate you joining us like this. It's a little unorthodox, but we'll do what we can.
I also,
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Here is Jimmy Cipolletta. Excuse me. I thought Jimmy Cipolletta was speaking.
I'm here.
Oh, I don't see you. Okay.
I know, I don't know why I don't have video.
You gotta click on the video in the corner.
If you're on an iPad, it's way up in the right-hand corner. Hit video.
There we go.
There you are.
All right, well, I'll get used to this before the end of the week. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm here with Julie Heiselman, and also Sean Judge is on here as well. I can see him on the screen. I have the privilege of representing Showcase Cinema in this particular matter, along with these two corporate leaders. As we know, Showcase Cinema here has been a great business citizen for well over a half century. And in order to become and remain competitive in the marketplace in providing top flight entertainment to the city of Revere and the surrounding communities, they have seen it necessary to request that the operation, which has been in effect as an adjunct to its provision of movies and other entertainment, the Chatters restaurant, since 2006 or 2007, to do a remodeling and a bit of an upgrade where they would change the license premises so as to remove one of the walls to Chatters restaurant and provide a customer walkway to walk up to the bar and to order alcoholic beverages to be brought back to the auditorium. Now, as the commission may have and may know, that this particular licensee has a very, very aggressive alcohol policy. I've sent over, I think it's 5 or 6 pages of policy, and I'm sure Julie will be able to detail it in greater depth. But what would happen is that all of the bartenders who are now working there are tip certified. They would remain so. There is an ID checker there at the bar at Chatters that would remain, and an additional one would be put in at the walk-up section of the restaurant. No provision or delivery of alcoholic beverages to any of the auditoriums will be done by
wait staff. Anybody who is going to buy an alcoholic beverage has to show face-to-face with the bartender, provide the appropriate identification and so forth. They have 7-day-a-week private security, and also they have Revere Police details. One of the detail officers is specific to the Chatter's restaurant area and would be there at the walk-up counter. In addition, as I have submitted some other material that the commission might have in front of it, the procedure for monitoring the each auditorium. This is an unusual situation that's sort of right in step with the times, where the ushers in the monitors have night vision monocles, and they're able to see inside those each of the auditoriums and look at what's going on in the seats and around the movie theaters. So every precaution that has been thought of has been adopted by Showcase Cinemas. Now they also have, this is not the case of first impression for the licensee. In fact, they already have it in operation, as do their competitors. But with regard to Showcase Deluxe, they are operating in such a manner in Woburn, Randolph, Lowell, North Attleboro, Chestnut Hill, which is a fairly elaborate one, Patriot Place in Foxborough, and their Showcase Cinema Deluxe at Legacy Place. So they are very well experienced at doing this, and Sean has been overseeing the operation there in Revere since for about 13 years. And I think Sean will be able to give you a little bit of insight and would be available to answer any questions that the commission may have. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, may we turn this over to Julie? She is the general counsel for the corporation, and she has a presentation, and it may go along with the slide deck that I sent over. We had proposed initially to do a PowerPoint, but we don't want to overburden the internet here.
We got a copy of the PowerPoint, so
Excellent.
thank you very much for that. I'm sure you can turn it over to Julie and she can fill us in on what she'd like.
Yes, if Maggie may be able to do that, that would be very much appreciated, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Absolutely. As Jim mentioned, we have been a corporate partner and citizen in Revere for over 70 years. We started with a simple drive-in theater, I believe, in 1948, and we have evolved into a 20-screen multiplex cinema. We had renovated the premises in 2007. We added Chatter's Bar and Grill into the lobby. And as Attorney Cipolletta explained, we're looking to expand out of that restaurant setting to create a lobby bar that would allow patrons to walk up to the bar, to order a drink, and to then bring it into the different auditoria with them, similar to the way we've done in all of the other cinemas that we have in the Commonwealth that Jim has also referenced. In addition to the PowerPoint that we'd provided to the council, we also had sent our alcohol policy and procedures, which is a very comprehensive program that we have rolled out across all of our cinemas throughout the Commonwealth, as well as the remainder of our circuit. And the paramount concern for us now and always is to ensure that we are not serving minors and that we are not over serving any other patrons. So if you look through the policy and procedures, I'll just hit on a couple of the high points of what we're doing. First, the policy and procedure is something that all of our employees have to read through and acknowledge. That includes staff that is not customer facing or dealing with the sale or delivery of alcohol. And the reason for that is that part of our programming is being able to identify certain behavioral cues, if an individual is exhibiting signs of intoxication. We want our ushers to be able to identify that, certainly, even if they're not serving drinks. We want them to be able to identify that and bring that to management's attention. So this is something that all of our employees from top to bottom, management, through all of our staff, that they sign, and we maintain copies of that acknowledgement. Part of the policy is that we ask for a valid identification for all patrons that appear under the age of 40. As Jim mentioned, we have an ID card scanner at Cheddar's Barn Grill right now that employees are required to use. And were we allowed to expand to the lobby bar that we're suggesting in our proposal, we would add a second card reader there as well. There are restrictions in place to the amount that an individual can buy. They can only purchase one beverage at a time. You cannot buy a drink for another patron that isn't physically present and that has a valid ID. In addition to that, all beverages that are sold at the lobby bar that are then brought to the auditoria are sold in a specific plastic cup that ushers can then identify within the darker theaters as they take the drink from the lobby bar into the auditoriums for their shows. In our experience, most often in our other theaters, we're seeing that people typically pair their purchases at the lobby bar with a food item, whether it be from the restaurant, which we offer at the bar, or one of our other offerings, whether it be at concessions, one of our quick service restaurants. Our experience has been that people are typically making that purchase with food, which I know is a question that the council had raised earlier. With this policy and procedures that we unrolled, we also have a very comprehensive training program that our operations staff in the theaters has rolled out and revisited after its initial rollout. And that is a tailored, robust training program, not only for management and leadership, but also for bartenders and servers, that's tailored to their responsibilities and reminds them of the utmost importance in complying with those policies and procedures. In addition to those two items, we also have compliance checks that we do internally. We hire a company that comes in to ensure that our bartenders and our servers are complying with it. And then that's in addition to any external compliance checks that the city may conduct or any type of undercover enforcement checks that are put in place. As Jim mentioned, all of our bartenders, servers, and management are tip certified. We have systems in place to ensure that those individuals are maintaining their certification. Our food and beverage department coordinates with the different cinemas to ensure that classes are made available when they're needed so that there's never a lapse in that certification, and the certification documents are maintained on site so that management can look to see when people are up for renewal, when they need to be taking classes, and just to make sure that everything is always in place the way that it should be. Part of our training program also is that every shift we have a designated alcohol compliance manager. And what that manager does is at the start and finish of every shift in the theater, they are running through a checklist with their staff to make sure that they know that they're always asking for IDs, that they're always using the ID scanners. And again, just really bringing home the point that our objective is at all times always the safety of our patrons and staff, and that we are not serving a minor or over serving an adult. So this is a bit of a broad look at our program and the different checks and balances that we have in place to ensure that we are keeping everybody safe. In addition to that, Jim had mentioned our ushers will be equipped with the night vision goggles, if you will, to be able to monitor the darkened cinemas to prevent anyone from potentially pouring their drink into somebody else's or providing that drink to someone who is not of age. And that is something that we've used in other cinemas and had success with as well. And in addition to that, we're training our ushers to look for these behavioral cues that are so important to recognize when someone is exhibiting signs of intoxication and may present a problem to the cinema. And then in addition to that, we also have security in place. And if the council is interested in understanding the specifics of how we schedule our private security as well as the city police detail, we'd be more than happy to do that. But as Jim mentioned, it is 7 days of coverage, and it is a combination of those two elements at the theater also there.
Well, thank you very much, Counselor. I had an opportunity in the other commissioners to look over the alcohol policies and procedures. It looks very comprehensive. Is every employee supposed to read this and sign it? Is
Yes.
that the
Absolutely. Even we only require that tip certification happens for those that are involved in the sale and delivery of alcohol, as well as our managers. But we ask all of our employees to read this, review it, and sign it so that everyone is aware of what our policies are, and also, again, those behavioral cues to be able to know what is it that we're looking for, what are potential problems that may arise, so that even a staff member that isn't involved in the sale of delivering alcohol is able to recognize these issues and bring them to management's attention.
Very good, thank you. I see that you have also a alcohol incident report log.
We do, yes.
What typically, from your other locations, what is typically on those logs? What have been your issues in other locations?
That's an excellent question. What we look to do with the log is that anytime an individual is, for instance, if a bartender cuts somebody off or doesn't feel that the ID that they're being provided with is sufficient and denies service to someone, we want that to be written down in the log. Also, if there is an individual who doesn't present a license but is well over the age of 21, we want to provide managers with the opportunity to use their discretion. And so to the extent that they deviate from the policy and procedures, the black letter law of it, if you will, that would also be something that we have them catalog and write down in the incident log. And Sean may be able to answer this. I believe that incident log is audited, that we're periodically going in and looking it over and making sure that things are being written down and documented correctly as well.
That is accurate.
Very good. Yes, Commissioner Guanasso.
I just have a couple of questions. I did have the chance to speak with Attorney Cipolletta this week, who answered several of my questions. But one of the concerns I have, when you say you're going to serve alcohol, is that for all theaters, all ratings? And is it from 11 to 2 as your licenses on chatters?
Yes, we would have the same hours of operation as we are currently having with chatters, which is typically noon until 30 minutes after the last showing of the last feature, which is typically around 11 p.m. And the patrons would be able to purchase at the lobby bar and bring it into any of the auditorium, regardless of what show is on or the rating. So theoretically, a parent would be able to bring a beer in to see a Disney movie with their kids if they wanted to. And the reason we do that is we feel that we have sufficient safeguards in place to ensure that whether you're going to see an R-rated movie or a G-rated film, that people are able to do so safely.
Okay, my other question is, how are you going to control the number of drinks that someone has? Will you give out a band, or is there no limit on to what they can serve other than the observation?
I believe, Sean, is it accurate that is it limited to 2 in Randolph?
No, I mean, you fall back on your tips training and
Right,
identify,
that's right, sorry.
the behavioral cues that Julie had spoken about, to identify if somebody is, intoxicated or not. Typically what we find is that, this it's not a sports bar. It's not somewhere where people are coming and bellying up to the bar and that they're there for 4 hours drinking. They're here for a 2-hour movie and they're having a glass or 2 of beer or wine or a drink, and they're supplementing their experience at the theater. They're not here coming up 4 or 5 times. They don't want to miss their movie typically. You get somebody that buys a beer at the beginning of the movie, goes and watches their movie, and then goes home.
Yes, I understand that, but you have had special events where it is young men coming into the theater, and you would have a couple of hundred people there. I guess that would be my concern.
A special event.
Special event went for 24, 36 hours. I even forget the event.
The Marvel Comics thing.
Correct, yes.
Yes, that lasted quite a while. So yes, you would have a large group of young people that may want to have more than whatever your limit is. So you're saying you only go by the observation, your employees, as to how many drinks someone could have.
Correct.
Am I correct?
I'm sorry. Is the alcohol compliance manager on the property all the time that the bar is open?
There is an alcohol compliance manager assigned each shift. So it's not as though there's only one on the staff that has to be there X number of hours. It's amongst our management team. They are delegated that title, one per shift.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any other commissioners like to question? Yes, Commissioner LaCroix.
Are the bottles glass, and are the glass, or is it plastic that they bring to the seats, to the theaters?
It's a unique plastic branded cup that if a drink is taken from the lobby bar into the auditorium, it can only be served in that plastic cup.
Okay. The other question, so you're doing this at other showcase cinema locations, and I'm sure it's been successful. I just Revere's a little unique. Demographic in Revere is at times could be little. But I'd like to get Sean, Lieutenant Randall's feedback, especially from a security, safety perspective, because I kind of lean on him. I lean on him anyway for a lot of this kind of stuff. Sean, I'd like to get your feedback on your thoughts on this.
Well, as the commissioners have, I've had a chance to look over their alcohol policy, and as they've all described it, it's very comprehensive. They seem to have a good security plan in place. As far as problems arising from this, I had the opportunity to contact multiple other agencies in the area that have theaters, not necessarily Showcase, but I contacted some that Showcase as well as AMC, to see what their problems, if any, have been. And from the police departments I was able to make contact with, no one really had could give me any problems that they had specifically with the serving of alcohol at the theaters. It seemed to be pretty much a no problem situation in the ones I was able to speak with anyway.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. I also had an opportunity to speak with the chief and the mayor, and they didn't have any issues. They're very supportive of the showcase and what they've been doing in the past. So I think the feeling is that they'll continue to be good neighbors with the city. Are there any other comments that want to be made by any of the participants here?
If I could just say one thing, when we start the application process, we were looking to remain competitive with the theaters that are in the area. Just in the last few years, we've had theater open up over by the Garden. We've had theater open up in Quincy. We've had another theater open in the Seaport, as well as the AMC at Assembly Square has opened since we opened Chatters. The Liberty Tree Mall Theater has been renovated. And we've had a lot of competition that has come in. And at the beginning of this process, we were looking to remain competitive in that environment. And, over the course of this last month, what we're looking at now is we need this as a revenue stream to help us survive. Our industry has been hit very hard. It's going to continue to be hit hard by this pandemic. And for us to stay healthy and to be able to continue to provide our employees, many of whom are Revere residents, we're going to have to really explore every opportunity that we have to find revenue to come in, and not only to provide our employees with jobs, but to continue to provide the citizens of Revere and the surrounding communities with the cinema going experience that we've all grown up with. And that's the biggest reason that we're here right now.
Well, thank you very much, sir. We can certainly appreciate your position. Are there any other proponents out there? Anybody want to speak on behalf of this? I don't see or hear any. So
If I may, this is Ira.
Yes, Ira.
Hi, guys. Ira Novoselsky, 53 Delhone Street, Revere City Councilor. I have two questions. When somebody comes up to take a beverage back to the theaters, is everybody carded? I mean, everybody, no matter what their age.
Our policy is anyone that appears under the age of 40 is carded.
Okay, so it's appearance, okay. Number two is there a number of limit of drinks at one time that somebody can take away from the bar?
Yes, they're limited to 1 drink at a time. And you
One
cannot
drink at a
purchase a
time.
drink for somebody else unless they're present with a valid form of ID.
Okay, so do they have trays? Do they give carry-all trays with that and food?
No, there are
They
no
do not.
carry-on trays.
Okay, good. Sounds good. Thank you. I have no issues with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Council Novoselsky. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to this? I don't see or hear any. We'll close that section. Well, I guess we will start the discussion. I mean, I think it's a good business decision. I like, the company's done good things. I have a little concern about drink sharing in an auditorium in the dark, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying this out for 6 months and see what it looks like. And then, take a look at it at the end of a period of time.
I would go along with that, Commissioner. The only thing that I would be concerned with, and I guess their license would have to go like everyone else's, if they did have these overnight or special events, the alcohol would still have to go by the alcohol.
License hours.
We can't continue to serve. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I'm just wondering, do we need it at GP rated movies? But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's good. We try it out, and we are adults. We should be responsible. So I don't see a problem with it.
Yes, Commissioner LaCroix.
I just have a question on the ID checks, and Councilor Novolowski made a good point with the checking of everyone's ID. Is there a reason why you wouldn't check everyone regardless of age or parents? I'm just, because a lot of the liquor stores have the license checkers now and stuff like that. I was wondering if that's something would be a little, from a liability perspective on your side, might be something you would encourage, or I'd be curious to hear that.
Sure, we had very long discussions when we rolled out the program as you have it in front of you now. And there was certainly talk of, should we just be IDing absolutely everybody? And at the end of the day, what it came down to is, again, our goal at all times is not to be serving minors and not to be over serving adults. So for those individuals that are, clearly over the age of 40 that we're not currently IDing, we don't want to hinder their experience in any way. And so we felt that by putting the bar at 40, we're being abundantly cautious that we're not serving a minor. And that,
okay. Fair enough.
Well,
fair enough.
Our main concern was.
Okay.
All right. So does anybody else want to add anything before we make a motion? Yes, sir.
I just to address Commissioner Guanasso's comment with regards to the Marvel marathon that we did, as was discussed when I appeared before the board to get approval for that marathon, we did still follow our regularly stated operating hours in the restaurant, and there wasn't alcohol consumption going on at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's our regular standard hours, and anything that we would do, we would continue that process.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that, sir. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add? Is that not seeing or hearing any? I will make a motion to approve this. And the motion would be to approve it on a trial basis for 6 months and see at the end of that how it looks. And as long as there isn't a problem with anything that we can't fix, we'll just let it go forward. I don't know how others feel.
With any license that we have, I feel that if things don't go well, we can always revoke. So we always have that comfort of knowing that we could change it at any time. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing for the city. I don't know. I think it's been several years. They've had a liquor license. They've never been before us. So I feel confident that they will continue as they have in the past. But again, any license, we can always look
Yeah.
back at again. So I would be in favor of seconding the motion.
Yeah. I'm all, yeah, I'll second that as well.
So do we want to approve it, just approve it, or do we want to approve it for 6 months?
Oh, I'm sorry. I realized you had a motion on the floor. Did you have a motion on the floor for
I have a
temporary?
motion to approve it for 6 months. Do you want to second that or put in a substitute motion to
I'll
just?
second. I have no problem with it. I mean, either way they can come back, but I'll second your motion.
Do they need to come, do they need to come back if everything's been quiet and working well? Well, we just,
Well, letters around a lot.
I'm just,
Yeah, I mean, look, all right.
I'm trying to make it simple.
Let's make it simple. I'll take a motion to approve this thing, period.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The motion is approved. But you should understand, obviously, that if there are situations that develop, we'll be revisiting this, but it is approved.
Exactly.
The application of NAI Entertainment Holdings LLC, DBA Showcase Cinemas Revere, Chatters Bar, for an alteration of premises to approve their licensed premise to include the lobby, spillways, and all movie theaters is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Council.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. That concludes item number 4. Item number 5, Kyung Ho Inc., DBA Flaming Grill and Buffet, 31F Furlong Drive. Wu Jinghua is the president. This is an application for a transfer of a common victualer's license. The application of DBA Flaming Grill and Buffet for a transfer of a common victualer's license from the Flaming Grill and Buffet, Inc., said license to be exercised at 31F Furlong Drive. The seating and operating hours remain the same. The seating is 358, and the hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Is there a representative from Flaming Grill?
Yes, Lin Chen from the manager of Flaming Grill and Buffet.
Thank you very much. And can you tell us what your plans are for the transfer of this license?
Everything will remain the same. So I will be continuing managing the restaurant for the new owner, except the owner is changed. So the seating is the same, the hours the same, and we're keeping all the old employees.
Very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions? Yes, Commissioner Guanasso.
Well, I guess on item number 6, we have the hearings into the unauthorized transfer of this license. So who was involved in this? Is this the same applicant?
Yes.
So
Apparently the license was transferred, but the paperwork and such did not accompany it.
right. So
This
on
is
that,
an attempt to rectify that.
right, but I would think we would have done the hearing first, or the unauthorized, before giving out the license.
Well, I mean, we can do whatever you'd like, if you'd like
Well,
to.
I'd like clarification of why they didn't come before us before transferring this licenses and selling the business.
Okay, ma'am, can you answer that question for Commissioner Guanasso?
Yes, at the beginning, because the new owner didn't speak any English, so he has someone out of state, someone from the accountant office to handle all the licensing transfers. And as a white get from the guy from the accountant office, he say he just do whatever the other states requires and just mix the common victualler license process. And he say he didn't know anything about it until I got the email from the licensing office, and then I noticed there's something that we missed and to get a process.
Yes, because that should have been done first. You didn't transfer the license.
Yes.
and now come up for a new license. He didn't know this when he had the license, that he couldn't just sell it and give it to someone else without notifying the board.
I think he know he applied for the business to the state city, and then I got all the letters from the city for doing business at Flaming Grill and Buffet, and we thought everything was complete. I don't know what he did over his end, but it's like we all thought everything was complete at the time, and then there was actually something missing.
Okay, well, it seems like it's over and done with, but that seems a little backwards, the way this was transferred. I have no other questions on item number 6. I don't know if my colleagues do.
I'm all set. Is Commissioner LaCroix still here?
I don't know where he went.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, ma'am, you understand now when if this license has to be renewed every year and have to submit the paperwork in a timely fashion, because
Yes.
technically you've been operating for a while now without a license. You understand that, right?
Yes, of course.
Right.
And so that leaves you subject to all kinds of sanctions, fines, and liabilities. You understand that, right?
Yes.
So if you want to avoid that, then the next time the license come up for renewal, I would suggest you have your paperwork in order and you do it in a timely fashion.
Of course.
Very
So-
good. I make a motion to approve this. Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Commissioner, at this time, I would like that we place this on file and we keep this in the file for further reference should this happen again, because I just don't understand how this just went through. So I'd like to place it on file.
Very good. We can do that. Do you understand what we're doing here, ma'am?
Yes.
So that if you have another problem with your license, and that is not putting in the paperwork in a timely fashion or operating outside the perimeters of your license, the board is going to look at what's gone on in the past and make an appropriate recommendation for sanctions at that time. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
Very good. Commissioner LaCroix, did you want to add anything?
No, I go along with, Chairman Solovich and Commissioner Guanasso. I think you got to do a little more due diligence when you, for these licensing, and, we can't start saying, wasn't speaking English, all that kind of stuff. We have to kind of, get with the people that can help you out. And so, yeah, you're going to be on notice. So, but otherwise, my colleagues, I'll go along with approval if it's been motioned yet.
Yeah.
I made a motion to approve.
To
Did any-
approve. Are we back on item number 5?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Motion to approve. Did LaCroix second it, or I'll second?
I'll second. Yeah, I'll second it.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the confusion. The application for a transfer of the common victualers license of Flaming Grill and Buffet is approved. The application of Gyeon Ho Inc., DBA Flaming Grill and Buffet for a transfer of a common victualers license from the Flaming Grill, the said license to be exercised at 331 F Furlong Drive. The seating and operating hours are to remain the same, with the seating at 358. The hours on Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay well.
Thank you, you too. And item number 6 is going to be kept on file.
Thank you.
And that concludes the hearings. Next, we have communications. The communication from the Massachusetts Alcohol Beverage Control Commission approving a transfer of a all alcohol restaurant license to 306 Revere Street LLC, DBA D'Amelio's Restaurant, and that'll be from Off the Boat Inc. Also a notice of bond confirmation for the bond of Pat Tater Jr., DBA Millennium Motors. Notification from the ABCC approving and alteration of premises for Joseph Leon Matola Post, 4528 VFW US Inc. Number 4, an ABCC advisory banning on-premises consumption of alcohol due to the COVID-19 virus. Item number 5, ABCC order regarding delinquency reporting period. An ABCC advisory on the continued prohibition of selling alcohol for on-premise consumption, and also an ABCC advisory regarding on-premise licensed selling of off-premise consumption, which basically refers to restaurants being allowed to sell alcohol. And we have some late license renewals for common victular. We have North Shore 1A Enterprise Inc., DBA Wonderland Convenience, 1247 North Shore Road. We have La Oscana LLC, 701 Broadway. I'm sorry I butchered that name. BW's Grill LLC, 843 Broadway. Hakai Corp., DBA Pizza Days, 55A American Legion Highway. Hesbicu Inc., DBA Glenn's Roast Beef, 325 Bennett Highway. La Metapanica Grill Inc., 63 Revere Beach Boulevard. Justin Donuts Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 345 Frank Bennett Highway. Liberto's Pastry Inc., DBA Liberto's Pastry Shop, 208 Broadway. And Pizza Inc., DBA Nonny's Pizza, 750 Washington Avenue. Amora Shenna Callahan and Avery Shenna, DBA Banana Boat, 700 Beach Street. RBJ Donut Company Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 300 Ocean Avenue. Royal Enterprises Inc., DBA Sobrine Bakery and Cafe, 91 Centennial Avenue. Bell Circle Associates, DBA Comfort Inn and Suites, 85 American Legion Highway. And that concludes the common victualers license. The next is an entertainment license for BW.
Motion to approve, sir. Motion to approve those late renewals.
Very good, very much. Is there anybody opposed to these? I don't see or hear any. Anybody want to speak on behalf? Don't hear any. I'll second the approval. The common victuals are approved. The entertainment, BW's Grill LLC, 343 Broadway. Their motion to approve the entertainment licenses.
Motion to approve.
Very good. That motion is that license is approved. Fortune Teller, Mary Wasso, DBA Revere Psychic Studios, 230 Squire Road. Is there a motion to approve that? Are you going to approve that, Commissioner?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. I'll second it. Parking lots, Bell Circle Associates, DBA Comfort Inn and Suites, 85 American Legion Highway. Is there a motion to? Very good. I'll second that. That's approved. Inholder, Bell Circle Associates, DBA Comfort Inn and Suites, 85 American Legion Highway. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Very good. That's approved. That concludes the items for today. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting until, what's that date?
May 18th, I think, isn't it?
I'll tell you, it's
May 20th.
May 20th.
So I'll make a motion to approve the License Commission meeting until May 20th, 2020.
second.
That is second, and that motion is approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Stay safe, guys.